You're now listening to Sound Talent Media. Check out more shows at soundtalentmedia.com.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Matt McGackie, the vocalist of Cryptopsy and the host of the Vox and Hops Metal Podcast, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians. We talk all about their lives and music while sharing killer craft beers. If you've ever wanted to sneak backstage and share a beer with one of your favorite musicians, well, Vox and Hops is the podcast for you. This week on the podcast, I dropped a killer episode with Kelly Schaefer of Atheist. There is this episode and over 440 other ones to help you enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. So what are you waiting for? It's time to become a Vox and Hops head. Cheers!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special edition of the podcast today. Today, we're trying something a little bit different. Today, we are debuting some music. And this music is not my own music. Today, we are checking out some music from Boy Indigo. That's a project by my friend Devon Blue. And today, we have Devon and Chelsea Baker, his bassist and friend and creative companion on the show today to talk about Boy Indigo. And we're going to play a couple tracks, talk about how those were produced, how they were written, how they were created. And yeah, I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really, really excited to give it a try. I just want to take a quick moment to thank this show's sponsor, Sweetwater, because they are making this possible. These tracks are not available anywhere else currently. So this is a first. We are actually debuting these songs on the podcast, and Sweetwater is making that possible. They're helping support these creatives and helping support this show. So huge shout out to Sweetwater for being such an awesome partner and also, coming on this experimental podcast music train with us. It's been absolutely awesome, and we could not have done it without their support. So thank you very much to Sweetwater for that. Okay, without further ado, let's get into this very special episode of the Tone Mob Podcast with Devon and Chelsea from Boy Indigo. We're going to check out some tracks. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be awesome. Let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Tone Mob Podcast. And this is a different one. We have a different little format going on today. This is a new thing we're trying out, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Today I have returning for the sixth time. I have no idea how many times you've been on, Devon. Devon's been on a bunch, and he brought with him today Chelsea, his bandmate, in the project Boy Indigo that we've talked about here and there in various Tone Mob formats on the internet. And we're going to go through some songs today. And it should be a lot of fun. But maybe before we do, Chelsea, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit since you've never been on the show?
Well, Blake, thank you for having me on the show. I'm super excited. Hi, I'm Chelsea. I play bass with this guy over here, Devon, in Boy Indigo. And we've been doing this for how many years? Going on 4 years now? 5 years?
So. I think
yeah.
So. It's been a while. I think it's like 3 or 4.
We're best buds, and it's a lot of fun. And we're super weird together. Woohoo!
Perfect. So you've been playing bass just for Boy Indigo, or you've been doing other things too?
No, I've been playing bass for 19 years. I've been in a few different projects, Northern California and Southern California. Been on the road quite a few times, and I've done the whole thing. It's been a lot of fun. And this project has been like a calling to me. I've been in different rock bands, blues rock bands, but this music just it's my passion project. When Devon and I started jamming with a couple friends, it really just my heart sang. I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for my whole life. So this is awesome. I really enjoy this project the most out of all of the projects I've been in. Not to say that they're bad at all. I had the time of my life in the last 19 years.
I know what you mean. Devon and I were friends through like the gear stuff. And
Mhm.
when I saw him post something about Boy Indigo, I was like, all right, I'm going to go check this out. Let's see what this is. And, I'm fortunate that a lot of people that I know on the interwebs and, in real life too, they do music type things. And, I like to check out all my friends' projects, but once in a while, one grabs you. And I think I texted Devon, I was like, I've listened to this like 12 times. I
Yes.
was like, whoa, this is cool. Like this, it's different, but
Yeah.
catchy at the same time. It's very hard to categorize, which I think makes it fun.
It
And
pulls on your heartstrings. It really does. And like whatever mood you're in, I feel like there's a song for that in Boy Indigo. And I've done the same thing, like at night in my dark room, laying in bed,
So
I'll
emo.
just put on it's so emo.
So emo.
But it's so good.
you
But
guys
now
don't know
I
how I
like,
feel.
yeah. I don't know. It just really puts me in a trance, it really, it's more than music. It's an experience. That's kind of how I view Boy Indigo.
Yeah, when Blake first heard it, he was like, "This isn't normally in my wheelhouse, and I don't really quite know what it is, but I like it." And I was
Mhm.
like, that's high praise, indeed. Because I know that you have to listen to. Uh, I know you and yourself, like in your spare time, like I know that you are a ferocious music consumer. And I know you do lots of interviews with other musicians, so you have to be acquainted with their work. So when you told me that you liked, our music, it couldn't have come at a better time because it was the first time we actually started putting anything out, and we've been kind of slowly putting things out. And this was actually the first project that I've been in where I wanted to put the music out. I started doing these EPs. I think I've done like 3 EPs on my own, and each time at the end of the EP, I would take all of the songs and all of the artwork and everything, all of the stems, and put it on a folder on my desktop and go through it, listen to it, and delete it. And
He
I've
deleted
deleted.
all
I know
of
Oh
all of them.
man.
I've done that 3 times.
I told
And
him I would never do music with him again if he deleted any of our stuff. So he hasn't yet.
no, I haven't. I haven't yet. And that was part of it too. Like with this project was to for me from a psychological standpoint. I wanted to do music with people that like I respected and that I admired because you know if I respected them and their time, like the best way to honor their time is to push the music out and to do everything I can with regard to promoting it. Like that's the ultimate, and showing them that like their time wasn't wasted on me and in this project. And it's been a crazy kind of road um in this whole thing, coming from the whole gear thing, just doing gear demos and stuff like that, to working on actual music videos and trying to do short films and everything like that. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy experience, I think, for both of us because Chelsea now, during the course of all of this, like Chelsea's become a great painter, and like that's become her livelihood. This is what she does to make ends meet. She's an artist now, so she paints for a living, and it was really cool to see that maturation in motion. Like, and we're both kind of like really self-sufficient on based off of the arts. Like, I think when we first started up the band, I was just now kind of getting into doing some of the demo things, and I never thought that it would be anything. I had a day job as well, and just by virtue of like the gear community and their acceptance and their just really their encouragement, I was able to kind of take that and then start shooting stuff for commercials and shooting stuff for a few little small TV shows and then music videos. And then now, like, this is, neither one of us have regular day jobs. We get to survive exclusively, based off of the merits of our art. And I think that that's important for a lot of people out there to realize that it can happen for you anytime in your life. Like, if you love a thing enough and you're willing to put yourself out there for it, it will pay you back. So
That's huge. And then another thing was just being in this project, starting up new passions or continuing old passions, and then kind of incorporating all of that, Devon's videography skills and my artistic creative skills. We've been able to put that into our music and to our project, and have it not just be music but also our art and our videography skills and costume and set design. I mean, like,
Right,
all of
yeah.
it. And we've been able to just throw it in with Boy Indigo, and it's been really amazing. And I'm super grateful that I have someone in the band, my partner, musical partner. Sorry, I'm so excited I can't even talk. My musical partner, who actually sees my skills. That's a hard thing, being in a band and being able to, like, really mesh with everyone in the band. It's like a relationship. It's like,
Yeah.
you bring out your skills, like, hey, I got this cool idea, and they're like, yeah, whatever. But not with Devon. Like, I give him an idea, and he goes with it, and he appreciates my ideas, and that's really hard to find in a band. And then I do the same with his amazing artistic skills, and it's just and that's a huge thing to make any project, bigger, is just having the relationship inside the project be so, just like, two heads are better than one, three heads are better than two, like with those specific people that are in this project with you. It just magnifies it.
Yeah, and we'll get an opportunity to kind of like go into greater detail on like how the arts affect and everything affect even these songs on an individual basis. Like I know a lot of the people in the gear community are like, all right, well, tell us about the gear. What did you guys use on these things? So we're going to play for the Tone Mob audience exclusively like an EP, and it's pretty rough. It's not mixed, it's not mastered. It's just, this was how it sounded recorded here in our little studio. And we'll talk about like the process, and we'll talk about some of the gear, and then at the end of all of this, we'll talk about a music video that we produced, which was the culmination of all of our artistic narratives and ideals. And yeah.
The video's awesome, and I'm really excited to talk in more
Thank you.
detail about the nitty gritty stuff, because Devon just clued me into some things yesterday that I didn't know, and I want to get into all that, but we'll save that for the end. One thing before we get into this first song, real quick, Chelsea, I want to ask you this. This is the first time you and I have ever spoke, and I want to see if your perspective is the same as mine.
Okay.
And I'm not just saying this to try to make you blush there, Devon, but I've found this dude to be one of the most inspiring people that I've ever gotten to talk to. He is a huge part of the reason that I have like taken the bull by the horns with my own music and started to try to actually just make music to make music again, and not to just show off the latest overdrive pedal, which I love showing off the latest overdrive pedal. But the last few months for me have been like kind of a reawakening of like, oh, I do know how to kind of make songs and create things that some people like to listen to. And he's been a huge driver for me. I kind of detect in your voice that you might have a similar feeling.
Yes. He has been a huge light in my life, and he's inspired me so much. I mean, not only is he like super talented, and he's so humble about it, it's ridiculous. And but he also, like I said before, I come up with these weird ideas. My creativity and musical inspiration is just it's a little weird. I'm an offbeat. I'm okay with that. And he is too. And he sees my ideas as something more than just, it's something in my head. And he brings it out of me, which was very hard to find in a lot of musical projects that I've been in the past. I haven't really been able to show my true colors. And that's why he is a huge influence in my life, is because he helps me. He's the driver. Yeah, he helps me bring out my true creativity, and it's an amazing thing. And I do the same for him. I'm sure he's told me before.
She's far more detail oriented than I am. She's like, why is she'll be like, the kick drum and the bass are not hitting at the same time, and your snare is way over there. And I'm like, oh, oh God.
We help each other.
Yeah,
out.
we help. Yeah, definitely.
I love it. I just wanted to get that out there because
Congratulations.
I wanted to say it publicly.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to do.
And likewise, though, to you, though, congratulations on all your success with like this recent, kind of artistic offering that you've given. And I understand that you have been kind of smitten by the process so much that you might be coming out with something else pretty soon, right?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've got one. Thank you. I've got one track in the bag. And I've talked about this a little bit here and there, but this next thing I want to do, I want everything to be a collaboration. So this first weirdo thing I did was it was a weird project. It was made to be listened to. The listeners know all this. They're probably tired of me talking about it, but it was made to be listened to all at once and kind of create a story of sorts. And this is going to be a lot more disjointed because the variety of people I'm working with are bringing so many different things to the table that it's going to be extremely not cohesive, but I think it will be a really cool range of things. It's in its very, very early stages, but there's a lot of irons in the fire regarding it. So we'll see. It'll still be an American Cyclops thing, but it's not going to have a lot in common with the first release. So we'll see what happens. But we're not here to talk about my stuff. We're here to talk about your stuff. Let's get into this first track.
All right.
Here comes the wolf in your garden. It's a beast of prey. The home will give chase. Home will give chase. anymore. Please give me a sign you're alright. The world is inside, and you cannot hide. I don't wanna see you go, but I want you anymore. My heart is torn apart. This Memphis is love. My words in this guitar should reach me from the past. I don't wanna see you go, but I want you anymore. I don't wanna see you go, but I want you anymore. My heart is torn apart. This Memphis is love. My words in this guitar should reach me from the past. I don't wanna see you go, but I don't want you anymore.
Okay, so Devon knows this. Chelsea, this is one of my favorite songs that he has sent me. He sent me a bunch of stuff, but this one, I was standing on my little porch thing at night, just kind of chilling and listening to this thing. I was like, this is my kind of thing. Like this one just immediately grabbed me. So maybe talk about the process behind this one. How did it start?
Well, it's I think most of the ideas kind of start off with like some sort of something that maybe it's like just the opening guitar riff, which is I think it's like a C sharp major 7 kind of thing, and I'm using the shallow water. I'm using the shallow water on that one, and it started off as like it was just going to be kind of like a simple kind of thing, and I sent it to Chelsea, and she said she actually really liked it, and I was like, all right, well then we should do something with this, and this track in particular is probably far more, I would say, there's more energy and it's far more aggressive than the rest of our tunes. So this is probably, and it's interesting because this is the most recent of the songs that we've done, and we enjoyed the energy of this. I think we're probably going to try to come out with probably maybe a few more tracks like that. But in terms of in terms of it, yeah. So it started off with just that little drone thing, and then Chelsea came in and added some bass, and her bass was like some good old fashioned kind of more rock and roll kind of bass. So then I was like, all right, well we're gonna take it that way.
Yeah, it's definitely a little more aggressive for sure than a lot of our other music, and it's perfect with the lyrics because it kind of shows that aggression through the lyrics and the music. but yeah, it's usually what happens is like he'll come up with a cool riff, send it over to me, and be like, what do you think? I'm like, of course I love it, and then I'll come in and do bass. Sometimes with this one, did we go with the lyrics, the bass?
Yeah, so that's always
Yeah.
the interesting thing with the bass. So the bass is the bass, like drum and bass is probably the most important thing in modern music. Um, so we always kind of more or less lead with that, and then the vocals are always kind of like then the vocals are important, and then guitars and any other ambient effects like keys and things like that. Those are always kind of like it's more like the icing on the cake. Like with a lot of modern music, a lot of modern production, top 40 stuff, drum and bass is pretty much paramount. So when it comes to her bass, it's like the bass will either follow the vocal melody or it'll definitively follow or accentuate whatever the core melody is. Um, and to that, guitar wise, I always kind of hold back, like kind of play back a little bit. Like I'm not playing full chords. If there are chords at all in the songs, it's usually kind of like a root third kind of thing, and that's pretty much the process for this one. Though for the bass on this, it was really hard finding like a good fuzz pedal or distortion pedal for bass. um, I went through. I remember going through a bunch of them. I mean, I had a bunch of. I had a bunch of kind of rat-like things, and we had the Chase Bliss. We had a lot of stuff actually out here, but we ended up using on that one. I wanted something that just sounded like your speaker was breaking a little bit. So we went with actually the Lumen by Hungry Robot, which is an interesting pedal because it gives you an independent blend knob for your wet dry, or it has a volume knob for your dry signal. So which is really interesting for bass because you still get to get all of that, like character from the dirt section, but then you still have the ability to kind of bring in as much or as little clean signal as you like. So I'm hoping that actually comes across well because again, these tracks aren't mixed or mastered. This is like we recorded them this way. And the other thing that we always use in every one of our songs is the Mellotron. I love the Mellotron. I'm a big kind of nostalgia freak, which is the reason why I love using the Shallow Water. I use the Gen Loss quite a bit, and then
love the Gen
Chase
Loss.
Bliss Warp Vinyl. Man, the new one though is pretty crazy. It's crazy. I'm looking at both of them. I got the first iteration and the second here. But yeah, the Chase Bliss Warp Vinyl too. So I'm using on every song, I have the guitar running through a little bit of that. And at times you'll kind of hear these weird kind of like twinkly, bright kind of things, guitars, and that's usually like the Count to Five and the Stamen.
So as a bass player, well, I don't know, a lot of bass players use effects pedals, but I personally have not really dove into using effects pedals until I started with Boy Indigo, and Devon kind of just showing me all, like he's got it's like a candy shop full of pedals. It's amazing. It's so fun. And yeah, so I'm still getting used to using effects pedals on my bass tone because I'm usually like old fashioned, like all we need is a lot of bass and a little bit of mid and tread. But yeah, so it's been really cool to kind of like dive into that whole realm. So I'm super excited about trying out all of his cool pedals.
Yeah.
But the Lumen, yeah, sounded really good on that track. And then we also have, of course, the the root, no tone, like just plug straight in track of bass, and then we obviously add the effects as a separate track to go on top of the bass, so you kind of get that full rounded feel.
Right. That's the most important thing. That's the hardest thing, though. I think in tracking bass is, especially with using distortion for it. And admittedly, it is an area in which I actually struggle with. Like recording drums and bass are hard, just because historically speaking, I've always done, especially with like the gear demos and things that I've done, it's always been vocals and guitar, which I'm pretty good at doing that. But bass is a lot harder to tackle. So what I always do with bass, if there is going to be any effects in the bass, I record one track clean, just clean, and then we record a track affected, so that when it's time to do the mixing and the mastering and things like that, you can kind of bring it back down, tailor it. You have a little bit more versatility, in the post production.
Very true.
Yeah, so that's kind of an
Super
important thing. Yeah.
So are you going direct in only, or are you going through a bass amp and then also direct in?
For the bass, we're going through like we're going direct in, but we're using a preamp. We're using like the Warm Audio WA73. It's the one with the EQ on it. And we have their compressor as well. So we pretty much go through for that. For live though, she's using she's using a
Mesa Boogie.
Mesa Boogie, and she's sponsored
Subway
by
D800.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I am sponsored by Mesa Boogie.
How cool.
And I love their gear. The Subway D800 is super simple, but it's very powerful. It's a beast.
It's got all that vintage mojo.
Yeah. And yeah, that's basically all I need. I had the Titan V12 before, and that one was like, it was literally a beast. It weighed like 50 pounds, and it did a lot, and it had a lot of power. But when I got the Subway, and that was like 10 years later, they came out with the Subway, and it's 8 pounds, which is perfect for me because I can't lug around 50 pounds and more every time I go out on tour.
Muscles.
It's good
Like
for your
fit
back.
it in my purse.
It's good for your back. Yeah.
But yeah, it's still, it's like 800 watts, and it's huge, but it's got this little tiny little brain, so it's pretty amazing.
That's awesome. And Devon, we've talked about your amps and stuff before, but what are you primarily using for the Boy Indigo stuff?
Yeah, it's funny that I've got a few amps in there, and because a lot of our tracks are more, I would say probably bass and drums are kind of the more important thing, and then vocals obviously, and then I've just been getting by with like the Fender Blues Junior, one of the newer ones. I do have like a twin, and I've got a custom shop, Supersonic. I've got a Kosh. I've got a boutique amp that was made for me. That was by Modern Vintage. And because I'm kind of like more like just auxiliary sounds and things like that, I've been getting by pretty happy with that sound. It's not big, and it doesn't get in the way of everything. It lends itself to being pretty dreamy. It just it doesn't overstate its point. It's there, and it does its thing. So I've been kind of using that one quite a bit. I've been pretty happy with it too.
So let's talk about the song itself a little bit more lyrically. Where were you at when you were coming up with this stuff?
It's a weird thing. I think with anyone who ever struggles writing lyrics, I always say to just surrender to whatever the song wants to be. You know, like I came up with the guitar melody, which was that arpeggiating on that uh, major seventh. Then I think it goes to like, what is it, I forget what it actually goes to. Like just the bass note kind of moves up to a D, so it's like a D major seven, and then you move that bass note up to the D. So in my mind, it was just like I know what I wanted the song to be about. You know, at first when I was playing that, and I was like, oh, I wanted it to be about something kind of just like, chill and easy, and but it didn't happen that way. You know, you close your eyes and you just listen to it, and it says, like a wolf in the garden kind of thing, and it's kind of a it's kind of a dark thing, and I think all of our songs kind of more or less kind of ride the line pretty hard on more darker themology um, than anything else. So it was the song is about like that idea of a wolf in sheep's clothing. Like it's it's just you have to kind of always take care of yourself. Like you have to, like, to a certain extent, you have to kind of be untrustful of things. And this song is about, like, you know maybe an object of your, someone you love, kind of thing, and how they could quite easily, like, you know take advantage of you in the situation. Um, so that's what that is. So it's in recognizing that, people can be wolves in sheep's clothes. So that's what it was to me. That's what it feels like to me. Again, it was like, started playing it, and close my eyes and mumble out words, and I always record myself. Like, it's pull out my phone and just record whatever the words are as I'm playing, and then I'll listen back to it and be like, oh wow, that's a really good line. How do I build on that line? And then, you write more, and then it just kind of just builds on itself in that way. um, that's the process that I've used. I no longer kind of go into it thinking like, this is what I want it to be. It's just more now for me. It's just, I surrender to whatever the song wants it to be, and I find it easier to do that. And um, the meaning, or the identity of it kind of comes out in the wash. Like, so to anybody who's ever out there, getting hung up on lyrics, I would say, just close your eyes and sing, and just surrender to what it wants to be. And at the end of it all, then you will find the meaning of it. But just don't force it. It's just surrender. And
It's very important.
Yeah, it really is. And it comes out that way. So
It's like that in a lot of artistic things too. Like for me, with painting, I've realized that as well. It's like I want so badly for something to come out the way that I picture it in my head, and it never does. And it's like, it makes me angry, and it's hard work. And then surrendering to it, kind of just let it speak for itself.
right. Not every song that we write has to be great, or good. And it's just, but you do have to write it, and it's funny because even in the failed processes, you write a song, and at the end of it, you completely hate it. Well, I mean, and that's all of us. But like, it's great exercise, and the abilities that you gain from even writing a failed song lends itself so much in helping you create a good one the next time around. Or there's elements from that song that, maybe you'll be jamming with friends or bandmates, and all of a sudden, that riff that didn't work in that song that you were writing for yourself, now it works here. So it's important for any of the creatives out there. It's so important to see it through. regardless of what you think it might be, just surrender to it, see it through, and at some point in time, like it's going to work out for you. It will. It always does.
And it may not be in the way that you think it was going to. I had a track that I did for the Tom album, and it was I got done with what I thought it was going to be, and I came back the next day and I was like, well, this is hot garbage. And it was really bad. But then I took all the things in it that I didn't like and just left with the main two tracks, added some Rhodes over the top of it, and I was like, oh, this is good now. Because this was really bad, like when I thought it was done, and I had to just scrap 3/4 of what was on it and then go back to the drawing board. But the bones were there. It's a completely different structure than what I had originally intended it to be. So you never know where it might go.
Right. And you had a song though too, and it's funny, like you going out with your field recorder and recording that guy being, arrested. That was the thing that ultimately set the tone for the entirety of that album you put out. And it's an interesting thing, like if you weren't there and in that moment, and if you didn't surrender to that moment, then it wouldn't have been what it was. So therein lies like the proof that like you never know where any of this will lead, but as long as you see it through, like it's guaranteed to carry you through at a later time.
Nice. Yeah, it's something to keep in mind, and it's easy to forget about that stuff. Just going with the flow can be really, really helpful. Well, let's get into the next song. What do you say?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay, cool. This next one is called I Can't Feel Alright.
On the road to Pasadena, say we'll make it there by night. In the garden of good and evil, I thought my love was with the night, and I can't feel alright anymore. And I can't feel alright They should have learned the lesson my grandfather taught right. He said them good old boys from New Orleans, they'll steal you from the light. And I can't feel alright anymore. And I can't feel alright anymore.
So this song got sent to me, unlike the one we just listened to before. I hadn't heard this until yesterday. And Devon was like, I'm struggling with which of these few songs I want to talk about. What do you think? And I turned this one on and I was like, man, it's going to be really hard not to talk about this one specifically because it's getting me right in my emo boy feels. Like it's so good. It was, and I was instantly, I didn't really know it at first, obviously, and I was immediately just like trying to harmonize and sing along with it. Like I kind of knew where it was going to go, and in a good way, not in a I saw that coming way, but like this is flowing nicely. So how did this one start out?
That one was I picked up the guitar and I knew it's like, yeah, I needed to write a song for Instagram. So on Boy Indigo, like every so often, I want to just I want to have some sort of post. Normally, it's something in the story, and unlike the Devon Blue demo stuff, like I'm allowed to actually show myself and actually be a human being. So I put a little camera on myself and part of my I give myself writing challenges, and my challenge was to just write a song real quick, and I did it, and I posted that on Instagram and I posted it on Facebook, and it received such a warm reception that we had to kind of finish that one. We were set at the time. We were like a month out from going to a cabin. We were renting a cabin to go shoot a video, and we had it in our mind that we were going to be doing a different song. And I did that, started that, and Chelsea liked it, and everyone else seemed to like it. So I said, well, let's just write the song, finish the song real quick, and then we will use this and put a video to this. And I mean, that's pretty much how that song kind of came out. Like lyrically, the song is very much it's about my grandfather. He passed away. He passed away. It was the year that month that I wrote that was the year anniversary of him passing away. And I mean, a lot of it was about his experience growing up, in America. And we were dealing with a lot of the racially charged things that were happening, and it's an interesting thing. You can draw a line from what was happening at that time to around the time my grandfather. I remember the stories he told me what it was like growing up. So a lot of that was that song is. It's about my grandfather and his experience, and how, like, it's become my experience as well. So the song saying that like I can't feel all right anymore. It's like it's the idea that like you're supposed to kind of grit your teeth and just take these things. You're supposed to smile doing it, and you're supposed to be happy about it. You're supposed to be happy that things are changing, or happy that things are just, you have to be happy. And the characters in this song are saying, well, I can't, I can't do it anymore. I can't be all right anymore. And yeah, so that's pretty much what that's about. But the production on this one was pretty straightforward. I mean, I did get to use a few weird pedals on this one. What sounds like it's a kind of slide guitar, sounds like a whammy. It's just the Digitech Ricochet.
Oh yeah.
And I set it to increase by a fourth, and then I set the attack and decay time relatively. So the attack is really quick, and then it's slow. It's kind of a medium to slow kind of attack, and a faster release on that. And the reverb was like I'm pretty sure it was like the Haunted Loud's Dark Aura, and then you'll hear like some kind of patty, kind of glitchy kind of guitars in there too. And that is the Montreal Assembly Count to Five and the Drolo Stammen. Pretty much those sounds are in every song. And again, there's a mellotron in there,
of course.
So, yeah. So those things are in every song that I do in one way or another.
The bass was pretty straightforward in that song. Yeah, it was one of the more simple songs that we kind of put the bass on the sideline and let everything else kind of speak.
Yeah, so that one was definitely straightforward on the bass. That one kind of we went straight through the warm audio, 73 EQ, and just kind of pretty much let that happen. And again, those songs, these songs are so untreated. Like, it's just, those are the levels that we recorded them at. Like, so
it's about as raw as it gets, basically.
Yeah, they're pretty raw. We had the goal of like trying to put out a bunch of music this year, but because we do all of our own production, like, it's just, it takes a lot longer to do it. Plus we're freelance, she does her paintings and I do like the videos, and it's just, it's really, really hard to get it done. And it's one of those things where in most instances, after a full day of working, come home and it's like, I still have to work on this, and I do. And I do. And that's where, that's the trick, it's the trick for a lot of us, because we're all working musicians, and whether it is by virtue of whether it's by the labors of our own, art, or a regular 9 to 5, like we have to, endeavor to work on something else for someone else for the larger percentage of the time. But the key to success is to at least every day, touch the project, even if it's just something as simple as you just picking up your acoustic guitar and singing the song one more time, or figuring out one more line just before you go to bed. Like, that's kind of what it takes. So it's hard, and for the most part, a lot of it is it's pretty much just us kind of doing this. So it's
the harder part is once we're like, oh my gosh, this song is really awesome, and we're recording it, and then that's when the planning starts, is like after the song was kind of created and recorded. Like, we just jam, record, and then it's like, oh, okay, now we have to do the work. Like, we have to plan, like the structure of it, and kind of, tweak a few things, tighten a few things, and then Devon does all of that here in his little studio with big gear. And so it's a lot of hard work, and he does an amazing job. That's for sure. I try to help when I can. But
all right,
good job.
That seems like a good segue to get into the big one. There's a lot to talk about musically, but also we got to get into the video to go along with it. But let's let the folks listen to Fading In and Out, and we'll be right back.
There are days
Okay, this was a big one. There is a lot to talk about here. Let's start with the song, kind of go over the seed of it, and then we'll get to, where Devon apparently almost drowned.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that
Oh
was
yeah, I
crazy.
forgot about that part.
This
Yep.
one was crazy. Actually, this is the first song that I think that we wrote
Yeah.
together. Like, this was a song that,
Mhm.
like, me, Chelsea, and John Tacnigos, he's our fantastic keyboard player. He lives in Austin, Texas, and we're here in California. So,
It was
this
before he
was it
moved.
before? I think it was before he left. Before he left to Texas. Now he kind of just emails in his parts and things like that, which is great. But this was one that we started together in this little small studio, and we finished it pretty much for the most part that day. This was the song where we figured out like what our style was going to be and what we wanted to do, because for months before, we were jamming and practicing and trying to get the feel for each other, and it was interesting, to say the least. I mean, and the song in and of itself, it still kind of has that feeling like, well, what is it? It's like, is it neo soul? Is it kind of like psychedelic rock? What is it? So there's still those underlining notes in there, and a little bit of jazz.
We didn't even have vocals yet.
Yeah.
It was just more of like you kind of doing your thing where you kind of just let the words come out, and the melody too. So yeah, it was I feel like it was a little like, after we got the music, it was like a kind of a harder process to kind of put in those right lyrics and the vocal melody and everything.
Right. And then when we got it, like, we had it, and we knew that, like, all right, this is going to be the one that we make a video for. And the video process on this was crazy. Like, the entirety of the video, with the exception of like 2 shots, maybe 3 shots, were all staged in a garage. We had to learn how to make fake walls. We had to learn how to make fake plates, and we went
Put
to
wallpaper on the
put
walls.
wallpaper on the wall. Yeah. So we had to do all of that, thrift stores to buy like the props and things like
We went
that.
to the Denios
Farmers market. Yeah.
farmers market. Got a bunch of because it's supposed to be based like
in the
70s, yeah, retro kind of. So we were looking for like older furniture, more retro style kind of stuff, like magazines we found from the 70s, and record player, and yeah, it was really cool to be able to we had to decorate an entire set, and we had to do, in that same little set that we made, we had to do 2 different, completely
rooms. Yeah.
different rooms. Yeah, it was really cool.
It was cool. It actually challenged us in a way, because going into that video, I had only shot gear demos and stuff like that. So the challenge was in learning how to light actual humans, people. When you're lighting a pedal that's red, red is one of those colors, basic guitar pedals. It's like you have far more, you have more room for mistakes. People, if you take a video of a red pedal, people will see that pedal, and it can be varying shades of red. It doesn't really matter. But human skin complexion is the one thing that the human eye always recognizes. So if a person's skin color isn't right, then that it's wrong. It's wrong.
Right.
And so figuring out all of that was hard. And ultimately, because of this music video, it's the thing that kind of started landing me other jobs, doing small commercial
The
things.
lighting process of this
Exactly.
video.
Yeah. And even for
my
Chelsea
God.
though too, like that's the most important thing. She did a lot of the costumes, like the masks and stuff like that, and that carried on to a lot of the things she does now. And now, we're trying to get her to do more set design for even some of the other videos and things that we do. She's done one. She's in another project that she plays in, and she did all of the painted all of the props and did all of that. So it's like, with regard to doing all of this, kind of surrendering to the process of, creation, you start learning that like there are other, you know, opportunities for you and other routes by which you can still kind of, maturate. And they all still lead to this, although the roads kind of diverge, but they all inevitably lead in the same direction, and it was crazy. It was one of those things we were willing to do everything and anything to get this done. There's this one shot where I did, yes, I almost drowned I have a extreme phobia of water, large bodies of water. Even
it was his idea to do
it was my idea. It was my idea to do this. Like, even if like too much water in the shower hits my face, I'm like, I panic a little
He's
bit.
like,
So
I don't care if I almost die. We got to get this shot.
yeah, there's this shot where you've got this guy who's like sitting in a bathtub, and then all of a sudden these black hands come out to push him under the water, and then the very next shot is of him being in a large body of water. And we did that by so we started off in the bathroom, shot it on a tripod, and then the hands come in to push him under the water. Then the next shot cuts to him falling in a pool.
A deep
A
pool.
deep pool. For me, it's deep because I cannot swim. So I used a friend's swimming pool, and I told him about the idea for the shot, and he was like, I was like, my idea initially was that I would fall in the shallow end, 5 feet. I'd situate a camera to the bottom of the pool, and I would fall backwards into 5 foot. Well, the problem with that shot was twofold. One, there wasn't enough distance between the camera and me to really make an impact. And then the second thing was when I fell into the pool initially at the 5 foot marker, it pushed my camera, which was my phone, all the way to the deepest end. And my friend was like, well, I think you should fall in over there. I think it'll be better. And then he says, when you fall in, just fall all the way to the very bottom of the pool, and I'll come in and get you. And I was like, wait, what? He was like, yeah. Do it. Trust me. I will get you. I'll get you. And like, I really wanted to get this shot. I really wanted to get the shot. So I did it. I fell backwards into the pool, and I cannot swim. And it was a horrifying experience, and it felt like it was lasting forever. And the second my back hit the bottom of the pool, I pushed myself up, and I'm flailing about, and I'm drowning. I was drowning for about 20 seconds. He was having such a hard time like grabbing me because I'm drowning. He's and he's
thrashing
trying
around.
Yeah. So he was trying to grab me while still holding on to the edge of the pool is what he was doing. So he was reaching to get in and grab me. And I was drowning for 20, 30 seconds. And then he finally grabbed me and pulled me out. And I laid there on the ground, and I thought, I am not doing that again. Whatever we got from that shot,
That's what we got.
it has to work.
And it was perfect.
It was perfect.
It was so perfect.
It was perfect.
Even with the hands, like your hands going down,
reaching out
for him, I guess.
Yeah, that was an accident,
But,
and it just ended up working. I don't know. Maybe I would do it again. I mean, I would do something like that again. Yeah,
Or you could just learn how to swim.
I was gonna say, why don't we get you some swimming lessons first?
I
Let's-
want nah,
He hates
nah, it's too late for me. Now it's like anytime I'm near water, I've got like floaties around my around my arms.
Fun
I've got
noodle.
life preserver. Yeah, and I got the little noodle.
Just the
like,
noodle. That's all you need.
full on scuba gear.
I have one, behind my arms, so I can put my arms back, and then I got one that I'm sitting on in the water too. So I got double noodle fun.
No, I want scuba gear with
In the pool.
like.
Scuba gear in the pool.
But I want
But
one of
I'm
those
not going
old-fashioned
underwater.
ones with like the fishbowl over your head and
the tube that goes to the
up.
surface. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want. So it was crazy. It was a crazy video. And when we made the fake plates, there's this scene at the end of the video where my wife was the one. She was throwing plates at me. She was charged with it, and then she enjoyed it way too much.
I was gonna say she's been waiting to do that forever,
Yeah,
right?
she's been waiting for a long time to do that.
Thick plate that we made.
That's right. So when you're making fake plates, you have to test them out.
They have to be thin enough to shatter.
Yeah, so you have to figure out what the appropriate ratio is. So,
What are they made out of?
Plaster of Paris.
Okay.
So
Okay.
some people like to use sugar, but we wanted
It was
something
expensive. It was way too expensive.
Yeah, it would be way too expensive to do it that way. And
we researched this for a while. We even got those plates that they use at weddings.
Yeah, we got
Those were way too hard. They would not shatter like we were hoping. And then we finally thought of who thought of it? It was you or Nick, the plaster of Paris, and then we bought a bunch of like super cheap plastic plates, and we just
use those as the mold.
Yeah, we use those as the mold. Like put two plates and sandwich the plaster in between the two plates, and you press down, and you get. Some of them were too thin; they broke immediately. Some of them were so thick that there was no way that they would break. But we did use the one super thick one.
Super thick one. I got hit in the back of the head with it. So we had the idea to have the shot where like these weird black hands kind of smashes the protagonist in the back of the head with the plate. But you have to. I got hit in the back of the head with that plate. And you had to, it was a thick plate, and you had to like look unaffected. That was the idea of that shot, was that like chaos was happening.
Yeah.
And Chelsea and I had to be like,
I was reading a magazine, and he was just staring off into.
And all the while, like I got hit with that thick plate in the back of my head. And it was quite a thought, and I had to do my best to just not be like
one shot.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
And the wife, she's like, I got this.
Yeah, my wife, she's like,
I can't wait to hit him in the head.
we smashed so many plates, and the whole thing though, like the very opening shot of that is like one plate zipping by. It touched my nose. And that wasn't part of it. That wasn't supposed to happen that way. She was supposed to throw the plate toward the back wall, but it came like it was coming straight from my face. And at the last possible second, it angled to my left. And that was a hard shot because they were throwing fake plates at Chelsea and I while we sat there and acted like nothing was happening. So bits and pieces of plates were still hitting us and stuff like that.
And then also behind the camera, there's all of our friends laughing and throwing things at us and just having a really good time.
Yeah.
So we couldn't laugh.
It was fun for them. It was a lot of fun for them. And it was painful and messy for us.
Getting it in our eyes and in our hair. I think one like skimmed my forehead. It was already broken. They were just throwing broken pieces after the plates were already broken, and it was chaos. It was fun.
Yeah. that was the one. So yeah, we put everything into that video.
this was the first video that we did on our own.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, it took almost a year for us to do all of these very important scenes, just because we had such a big team at the time helping us. Well, it wasn't a big team.
For that one shot, we had a bunch of people helping us for that, but for the most part, it was just myself, Chelsea, and Nick Musser. Nick is the he was the man behind the camera, and ultimately he's the person who actually has taught me everything about videography, and we shoot things still today, to this day. And I can't thank him enough. And furthermore, it was Chelsea was his roommate at the time, and we shot the video in their garage.
Mm-hmm.
And if Nick actually ever listens to this podcast, which I'm sure he will, just want to thank you, and tell you how much we love you.
Yes,
And,
thank you so much.
He's
a great videographer. He's been doing it for a while.
He is. He taught me everything. So anytime anyone sees like one of my demos and thinks like, God, this guy's good, like, I learned a lot of it from Nick, and still do.
The only reason why it took so long is because they would spend most of the time working on the lighting.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 hours.
I had to learn how to be patient.
Which,
and then
she's not very patient. She gets so grumpy, especially when she's hungry. She just starts shouting, "Why are you guys doing this so long?
Just move the light.
Just move it
there.
Put it right there." And then she would move the light, and we would be like, "Oh, that actually works."
Yeah, because they just be fixated on all the different colors.
Small,
like, ooh, this one would look. What if we combined
details.
These lights with this one, and that corner over there with that corner? It was, but it's everything. Lighting is everything. It really is, and it was really. I'm super thankful that Nick had all of this knowledge and Devon's super into it too, and them working together to get that lighting to make the feel of that scene it's so important. And I'm so happy that we do take that time, because a lot of people don't realize lighting is everything. It captures the feel of what you're trying to make,
that, and all of the props. And it's funny that that's always been the thing, like even in the demos that I do, like props are so important. So everything we used was era specific, like even down to the magazines we found at a kind of a vintage thrift store kind of thing, and they're from the 70s. Times magazine's from the 70s. The coffee pot was from the 70s. There's just lots of things that were definitively from that era. The couch itself was from the 60s and 70s. So it's just a lot of things like that. The television too. So it was
the reel to reel.
The reel to reel, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, dude, everything.
Yeah, that's great.
So we
trying to find that TV.
Oh, trying to find that that orange TV was
eBay. I think we finally found it on eBay, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
On eBay. It's just,
like, it might work. We just want it to have fuzz.
we want it
to turn on.
Yes.
Where did the original concept for the whole thing? There's kind of there seems to be a underlying theme and plot to the whole thing. Where did that concept come from?
Me. I did the storyboard for it. And it's so interesting though, because when I created the storyboard for it, I do it in video format. So I cut a lot of images from the internet and pictures and things like that, and I put them on a timeline and played it with the music, so that, and then had text to explain what was happening, what was going on. And the idea of it was that, like, we give so much control to things, like to our smartphones, to technologies, without taking into consideration what happens when, like, the control we give those things to make our lives easier, what happens when they decide to make things worse, and knowing that they do have the capacity to make things worse. So it's that kind of idea about like relying wholeheartedly and heavily on like these things that make our life easier, because, you know, just as they make your life easier, they can inevitably, irrevocably, like make it worse. So that was the idea for it, and in my mind it was so matter of fact, you know. But it wasn't until like we started shooting it that I realized how weird it was and how eerie it all kind of came out to be. I thought of it in my mind that it would be kind of tongue in cheek, and there'd be kind of, but when you see it, like it's really dark and ominous. And again, that's one of those instances where we kind of surrendered to what that wanted to be. There was a shot where like they were just destroying things outside and that whole chaotic scene, and it was like that's what it wanted. That's what the process, you know, wanted. And I don't think that we ourselves said that this is the way we want it to be. You know, it's
kind of just happened.
It kind of just happened, and we just went with it. You know, like you have to, as an artist, you know, like we are so in tune to like these outer forces. You know, like when you sit down to create something, when you sit down, put a guitar in your lap, or sit down to a, you know, a blank canvas, like there's nothing there. There's nothing there, but you have the capacity to create something, you know. And I say this all the time. You have the ability to create something in light of just everything else that have come before it, but you can still make something new. You know, as a musician, there are only really a handful of chords there, you know, but like you can still make something new. And, you know, I think a huge part of that process, and that's been kind of the underlining theme of this whole thing, is just to know when to conquer, but know when to surrender. You know, it's like, I know you can hold on, but can you let go too? And I think that that's was with the whole Boy Indigo thing has been for us. It's just been like a huge artistic outlet for both of us, and for John, who plays keys for us. He couldn't be here because he's in Texas, but but it's
He did call us earlier.
he did
and
call
wish
us today.
luck.
Yes, before all of this,
And
so
says hi.
he says hi to everybody.
But that's the thing I would like to say about this band once again that I find so fascinating with it is, you know, Devon, you know, has these ideas, and, you know, you to make something a reality, it doesn't just take one person. It takes the right people to
Right.
make it a reality. And it's so hard to find people who are like, yeah, let's just go with it. Let's make this amazing, you know. And then there's those closed off people that are like, no, I want it this way. I want it exactly this way. And it's like with any type of project, it's really hard to like work with someone who is like that, and it causes things to kind of go backwards instead of forward. And that's what I love so much about this project is everyone that we have working with us. I mean, it's not a big group of people, but it's just like with Nick Musser, when he was doing that video with us, you know, he came up with a lot of great ideas on the spot as well, you know, as well as Devon, as well as me. And um, it's it's pretty amazing how far you can go when you're with the right like-minded people.
Right. Yeah, when everyone is kind of just surrendering to the process, like, you know, not so much worried about the outcome of it, more fall in love with the process of it. And if you fall in love with the process of a thing, then like, you know, you're guaranteed success.
It will do wonders.
Yeah,
for sure.
It'll do wonders. So that's where we're at with all of this, and it's been fun.
And fading in and out, I did want to say something back to the music before we went into video, but I didn't want to interrupt or anything. But with the music aspect of the lyrics, Devon usually writes all the lyrics, but I am a little poet as well, and I always
That's
send
right.
him random
That's
stuff that is
right.
like, whatever, this was going through my head one day and I just wanted to give it to you. But we had a section in it where we just couldn't figure out what to put in lyrically, vocally.
The chorus, yeah.
Yeah.
And that
the
was
back and forth, fading in
here,
and out.
and
We
you
were
were
here. Yeah.
humming. You were humming those words, and I was like, "Oh, that's perfect."
I was like, it has to be a
So,
chant. It has to be a chant. And yeah, that's how we came up with that part. And I love that about Devon too. He takes my poetry, which is it's pretty dark. I mean, I'm a happy person, but like, yeah, you know, I got a dark mind sometimes, and he loves it. And I'm like, cool, man. Like I feel so like awesome because you know I always write that stuff and I don't show it to anyone because it's like, oh, is there something wrong with you? Are you okay? Do you want a hug? I'm like, no, it's just it's my fuel. I don't know. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I just have like a dark poetic mind, I guess. But
yeah. There's another song though too.
yeah, there's a couple of songs.
What was that song? It's actually it's the one that is out on Spotify. It's "Look Inside Me." "Look Inside Me" actually started off with an excerpt from a poem of hers. She sent me a poem that she had wrote, and I was like, oh, that's such a good idea. And then I just added to it.
That's what's great too is he makes like my random rants into more of a melody, like a lyrical melody, and it's pretty amazing. He'll just feed off of whatever I give him, and I feel honored because he's such an amazing poet that he doesn't even need me, but like when I'm like, hey man, I got some poems for you, he's like, send them over. So it's amazing.
That's fun.
I just wanted to put that in there too.
Good
I
job.
think I relate to you a lot, Chelsea, with that. Like I'm usually like, yeah, what's up, everybody? Good times. And I like was showing my dad some of the stuff and explaining him some of the inspirations behind some of the stuff where he's looking at me. He's like, are you all right? Like he's like that's
There's
that's
a number
pretty.
you can call. You know?
He's like, that's pretty dark. He's like, that's pretty dark.
I wasn't expecting your album like when it came out the way that it came out, and I listened to the whole entire thing. And that's the thing. That's the key thing. It's like you have to listen to the entire thing to like get it. It's one of those things where if you put that album on shuffle and one of the songs kind of come in, you'd be like, wait a minute, what's happening? But like when you listen to it from like start to finish, then like you really get an idea of it. I did not expect for that from you at all. There was so much field recordings in there. Like the whole thing actually just felt more like an artistic statement than anything for me. That's what I took from it. But I was half expecting like a lot of like either like super droney guitars or like heavier stuff. I thought for sure kind of heavier alt rocky stuff. Yeah, but that's crazy though, you know, like that's again surrender to the process and then you know
exactly.
Yeah, just let it happen and that's what I did with that too, you know, and a lot of that was, you know, because you kept telling me that over and over again. So I was like, all right, let's just do it. And
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this has been a really fun episode and a really cool way to change it up. And yeah, I think this is I think people are really gonna like this. This is a different format, but we have the opportunity to be able to do it because we don't have a lot of people don't know this, and a lot of podcasts kind of disregard this and just do it anyway. But when you have labels and, you know, multiple fingers involved, when it's like a less independent production, you're not technically supposed to play music on podcasts that like is owned by somebody else. There's exceptions and there's ways, there's fair use in certain contexts and whatever, but like we couldn't play a full song. Like if I had John Mayer on the podcast, his label wouldn't let me play the whole song for free, type of thing. So this is a lot of people don't know that about podcasts and music. There are those that do it, and there are Spotify exclusives that have the ability to do it because they have so much of that infrastructure built in. But this podcast is everywhere, so can't do that. Anyway, all that to say is this was a unique opportunity, and I'm glad you guys were down to do it, and this was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for having us. This is awesome, and so nice to meet you, Blake.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too.
Yeah, this was rad. So to anyone out there, I would say, this should be airing, I think, on May
Your birthday,
6th, which is my birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
So thank you. So if you can, find the fading in and fading out video. In the description section, you will see links for pre-saving the song. It'll be coming out May 14th, I believe, on all platforms. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. And then watch the video. Leave some comments. Let us know that you found the video by way of Tone Mob, and we want to have a discussion with you guys and
be a part of our Indigo tribe.
Yeah,
we love to hear from you all, and
especially other creatives.
Yes.
Like that's collaborate with other creatives because like you.
We are a band of good vibes.
Yes, good vibes.
Very good vibes. Yeah, all that information will be in the show notes, and if you're a member of the Tone Mob Facebook group, I'll put those links in the post for this as well, so you can easily find that stuff. But yeah, go give Devon a birthday present for his 19th birthday.
19th, that's it.
Yep.
Happy 19th birthday.
I'll do
Devon.
that again. Yeah.
You're going down. Yeah. Okay.
He's like Benjamin Button. Yeah, that's another thing about him. Yeah. So yeah, go give him a birthday present. Give that a pre-save. Give it a spin. Check it out. And seriously, it's awesome stuff. And I wouldn't have had him on so many times if I didn't really believe that. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's really amazing.
Thanks, man.
Of course.
Happy to be a part of it this time.
Chelsea, I'm going to give this last question to you because this is your first time on the podcast. And I'd be in trouble with everyone if I didn't at least get to this at least once.
Okay. Oh God, I'm nervous.
What's your favorite kind of pizza?
Ooh. Oh, well, I think people are still going to hate me.
Oh no.
Hate her.
I am a vegetarian, but I love pizza. I love all types of veggie pizza, but I have to say, I'm just gonna go simple with this. My all-time favorite pizza is just cheese and red sauce, spicy marinara sauce. That's good with me. Maybe a little bit of garlic on it too.
You like a thin crust? Do you have a favorite pizzeria?
Well, in Sacramento, Folsom, there's Pizzeria Classico. That's my all-time, since I was a kid, favorite place to go to. I do like the thinner crust pizza. And oh my God, I'm so hungry just talking about this right now. Oh, what are you doing to me? I'm getting angry.
Hey, you and me both. I'm always recording these just before lunchtime, and I get to the pizza question, and I'm like, oh man. But I have a little secret though. It's kind of like the Incredible Hulk is always angry. I'm always hungry. So it just is what it is.
He gets mad at me because like every time we're like talking, I'm always eating, or he comes over, I'm just eating more food. He'll bring me chocolate because he knows. He's like, all right, just here you go.
On recording days, I have to have candy.
Gummy bears. Where's my gummy bears?
Gummy bears.
It's true. It's very, very.
You got to keep your blood sugar, at an optimal level for maximum creative output. I think.
Exactly.
I think that's the idea.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys so much. For Devon and Chelsea, this is Blake, and as always, folks, good luck and good tones.
All right, folks, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that one. I really, really enjoyed the format mix-up. I enjoyed getting to check out new songs before, the general public. That's always a treat. And you got to hear them too. So please go to wherever you stream music and pre-save the Boy Indigo music and stream what's already there. By doing that, not only are you getting glorious music in your ears, you are also helping support the artist. So yeah, thank you very much to Chelsea and Devon for coming on again. Please go check them out on all the socials. Check out Boy Indigo wherever you stream yet again. And again, huge shout out to Sweetwater for making this possible and helping support these artists and helping support this podcast. Love them. They're treating us really good. And please go support them so we can continue doing this thing. All right, everybody. I'll talk to you very soon. Please hit me up wherever, shoot me that text, shoot me an email, shoot me a carrier pigeon, a DM, whatever. Hit me up in the Facebook group. Let me know what you thought of this one. I'd love to do more. So keep me in the loop. All right, I'll talk to you very soon. One last thing before we totally sign off here. I just want to remind you that if you do any shopping at Stringjoy, that's Stringjoy guitar strings made in Nashville, that will help me out as well. As I've said for years, I'm heavily involved in that company, and I really do think they're making the best products on the market. So if you would like to try custom strings, go to tonemob.com/stringjoy and check them out today. I seriously love what the team down there is doing. I help them out with all kinds of things, and by you supporting them, you are also supporting me as well. And hey, you need some strings, so why not get some custom strings just for your guitar and playing style? Again, the link for that is tonemob.com/stringjoy, and that will take you right to their website, and you can do all your shopping through there, and that will help everyone involved out. So thank you very much. Talk to you next time. We are brought to you by the wonderful folks at Gun Street Wiring Shop. Yes, Gun Street Wiring Shop. I've talked about them before. I used to say based out of Bend, Oregon, but guess what? Sean moved to my neck of the woods. Sean's in Portland. Sean is awesome and has helped me with a bunch of stuff lately. And if you have wiring needs for your guitar, he can help you too. If you want to get weird with it, he can get weird. If you just need to spruce things up a little bit, there's your guy. He takes all the guesswork out of doing your guitar wiring, and he makes it simple, and his customer service is top-notch, and I can't say enough good things about Gun Street as a company. I really respect Sean and what he's all about, and the product is top-notch. I've got 3 different guitars that now have Gun Street harnesses in them, and I could not be happier. So go to gunstreetwiringshop.com and check them out.